Hello again, and it's time for another project. Today we're going to use the scroll saw and cut out this shark image on 5.5mm MDF. Now I don't normally use MDF, but this is off a recycled desk or wardrobe, and it's basically what comes at the bottom of the drawers or at the back. So you can see from there it's got this plastic coating on, which is fine, and it cuts well enough. And I'm going to say it's MDF, so you've got to have a proper mask on and stuff. MDF can be quite dangerous with the dust side of things. There's nothing wrong with it when it's actually in a solid piece, just with the dust, so be prepared with that. And like I say, it's not something I normally use, but these pieces are 3 pieces and we're recycling them, and it's just a nice little easy, I say easy, project. And it measures in at 24 inches, I believe, that one. But just get a tape measure quickly. It says hopefully, I think it's about 24 inches long. Yeah, we'll go for 24, so it's a nice little size. So the idea is you're going to basically glue it down onto our MDF. Normally I would work with pine, but today we'll glue it down there. I'll use painter's tape first. We will literally just line that, and then we'll spray on some glue, stick it down, and then we have to cut out the sections, the darker grey sections. You might just be able to see them on here. So we're going to cut out all these sections. So we will have to drill pilot holes into all these sections here, so we can feed our blade through and basically cut them out. And then we'll look, once that's all cut out, we'll look into it to maybe cut maybe a slightly bigger backer, or we will cut out a backer the same size and cut the 2 pieces out at the same time, what they call stack cutting. But for now, we'll put our line on, put our spray on, stick it all down, do the pilot holes, and then we'll talk about the blade we're going to use today. Just quickly, before we put on our blue tape, I literally just got a pencil and drew around the template itself. That way we're not going to use too much tape by filling the full section up. First time I've done it this way, so we've got a rough line, so we only need to put the tape on these bits to cover the actual fish itself. Cover the shark itself. Okay, let's throw this tape on. Right, so we put our tape on, the blue painter's tape. We sprayed our glue on. I think I sprayed a little bit too much. As you can see, it's soaked through the paper. That's not going to affect us at all. Some people like to cover that with clear tape afterwards. Not something I've ever tried before, and I've never had any issues. Right, for cutting out purposes, those who've watched my previous videos, I like to use what they call a spiral blade. Ideal for something this size, because a spiral blade will cut in any direction. They do have teeth the full length. Now excuse my terrible hands, we're just moving on quickly today. So spiral blades, they teeth spiral the full length, so you can cut in any direction, and you could literally start there and just move the blade, like so, without moving your wood really. Now the other 2 blades are what they call a pin blade. They come on your cheaper saws, and they're pins at both ends. They just hook on. Now you would struggle to use this on some of these pieces because all the pins are in the way. We've lost the blade completely, but you imagine just 2 seconds. Oh dear. With the pin, you will struggle to get your pin in those holes. Also these bigger ones, no problem. I do find when I'm doing my pilot holes, the bigger the hole, the easier it is for me to feed the blade in. And I think there's another couple of small ones maybe around his top eye, just where the eye is. You might struggle to get it in, but you will make it work, I'm sure. And the other blade is what they call a pinless blade. They're for your professional guys, and obviously they will fit in those pilot holes, no problem. So you find a blade that suits you. Unfortunately, with my old scroll saw over there, it only takes pin blades, so I have to use these adapter clamps, top and bottom. and they're a bit of a pain sometimes. Putting them on, you have to use an Allen key to tighten them up with, then you hook it on your saw, top and bottom, and away you go, and then undo it, take it off. So it's a slow process, but if you are buying a scroll saw, definitely buy one that takes pinless blades. Okay, we'll set it on the scroll saw. Always do your inner cuts first. Before that though, off camera, I will just cut out this surrounding area just to make it a little bit easier for me. Right, so I cut around this roughly, just to remove the surrounding area. It's just a little bit easier for me. And we've set up the Pegas number 5 spiral blade into our first hole here. So all blades are going to be smooth on the way down and rough on the way up. That way you've got them in the right way round. They will cut the opposite way, and you'll soon know it's in the wrong way, because all the dust will get poured up to your templated top. So that's a good sign that your blade's in the wrong way. And also, as you're cutting, you'll be tempted to pull up your wood each time, and you'll notice if you set everyone those guards on as well. So we've got the tension, got a nice little ping 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 sound. We'll get a proper nice mask on now. I'm not too happy with MDF, but we're going to go for it today because it's all we have. And remember, it's free wood, free material, and that personally is my favourite type to cut. Okay, let's start cutting this one out. Right, so we've done all the inner cuts. This is cutting out, no problem. The only thing you do find with these spiral blades, you'll get a lot of these little fuzzies, as we call them, on the back. Don't ask what this is, kind of plastic coating this. But a bit of sandpaper, and you'll soon get those off like that, no problem. So you do require a little bit more sanding on the back of your pieces. Now the backer for this, before we actually cut out the shape of the shark, is literally the same piece that's already cut this size, come off the same desk unit, wherever it was it came off. Now the idea was originally just to glue these two together as they are, just on the outer spaces there, the scrap sections, and cut out the two sections at the same time. So you would cut out the top template and the backer board there, and then when you put them together, obviously it shouldn't be far off a near perfect fit. But for this one, I just want to put it on a slightly larger backer, so we can cut this out as it is. Once we've cut that out, we'll literally place it back on there, and I like to use the washer technique. I've got a bit of scrap here just to show you. So you imagine that template being there as we've cut it out, and it's just a simple case of getting a washer that fits, should we say. Now the distance for the backer will be that distance there. If you want a smaller one, you can go for a smaller one. That's slightly bigger again. And then if you're just going to pop that on there, that's too big, is that one? Let's go for that one. Pop that on there, and you'll put your pencil in, and we'll just draw around the full piece like that. So we will draw around the full shark once we've cut it out, obviously, and that will just give you a nice backer with that extension there, if I can just show you that. So we'll go for that technique, I think, instead of actually cutting it exactly the same size. So before that, we'll cut out the shark, pop it back on here, and go around the full piece with one of our desired washers, and then we'll cut the backer out as a separate piece, put it on top, and we'll have a little 3 or 4 millimeter all the way around, just to make it slightly bigger and a little bit more chunkier. Okay, let's cut out the original one first. Right, there's the general shape of our shark, all nicely cut out. We will do a little bit of sanding, like I say, on these sections there. I've already removed those, but you can see there the little fuzzy bits, and they'll come off easy enough. So regarding the backer, as mentioned before, basically a piece of the same section from the desk, and it's just going to be a simple case of putting it on there, and we're just going to draw around that with a washer. I'm going to go for this one here. That's a good about 5 millimeter across here, so that will have a 5 millimeter border round the full piece, just to stop it moving. I tend to put a bit of tape on there, bit of blue tape, just to hold it in place, and then basically take your time and go around and draw around it all. We just want to stop that from moving about. It doesn't be too fancy, just general piece, just to stop it moving, and hopefully we can get around that without too much too much movement on the actual shark itself. Okay, we'll draw around this quickly, and then we'll be ready for cutting the backer section out. So remember, it's just a simple case of, I've actually gone halfway around this before I realised I should have been filming. So you just pop your washer in there, make sure you support your sides there, pop your pencil in, and literally just draw around this. And this will give us a nice border of the same shape all the way around. Plus you've gained another 5 millimeters at either side, so your project's just slightly bigger than it was when we started. Just squeeze around there. And hopefully you can see from that we're nearly on the onward stretch now. And that's it, we've made it all the way around in one piece, and hopefully you can just see the outline there all the way round the full lot. So that's plenty for what we want. So we can literally just remove this again now, and now we're simply just going to cut out the backer section, and that will be the overall shape of our nice shack. Okay, let's cut this back piece out. Right, so we've made it all the way around that backer with our Pegas number 5 spiral blade. That's cut out really easy. So there's the general shape of our fish, obviously, if I can get him in, of our shark. Remember, we're going to do a bit of sanding on these backer sections here, but you get from there, you get your general idea. So there will be the back section. Remember, we've got to peel off the tape off this yet. We will peel all that tape off like so, and that will obviously be our topper that will sit on there like so, just giving it a nice good chunky, I want to keep saying the word chunky, nice chunky shack there. So for now we'll peel all this off and then get our sandpaper, tidy all the backer up, and then we'll look into the painting side of things. Right, that's enough sanding down for me. We've literally gone round, a bit of sandpaper there, nothing fantastic. And I like to just round those edges off. And we've also removed all those little fuzzy bits on the end there, so we've got no problem there. And basically did exactly the same with the backer, all nicely rounded off, all the way around the full piece. And obviously we've removed those little fuzzies off the backer there. So that's it for the sanding down. Just remember this MDF, the dust itself can be dangerous, so you want a good mask on. And it's not something I use regular. Once every 5 years I'd use a bit of MDF, but this is all we had available today. So now we're going to paint this. I've looked at some images of sharks, more like a cartoony shark, let's be honest with you. I'm no painter, and I'm not going to get this look like a realistic shark. So we're going to go for a cartoony kind of shark, if that makes sense. It's a get out quickly claws. And then we'll just black and white, mix a nice grey up. for the main shark himself. And then these inner sections here, they have a white belly on. We'll do that white on the back of itself, and then when we put the top section on, it should look totally different again. Now this extension bit, the little 5mm all the way around on the backer, I'm debating to do that blue as a deep blue sea kind of effect, or that might just be black with the grey and then the white. We'll find out when we come back. As we say, I'll go off and paint this now, and when we come back we'll spray a nice bit of varnish on, finish it off, and this little project will be heading towards the finishing line. Right, there's our two sections nicely painted. For the shark himself, we just mixed the white and the black of the Painter's Touch paints together. That gives us a nice grey. And remember, always paint the inside of the walls there and the top, and obviously all around the full edges. So that's a slow process. You could spray these if you wanted to. For me personally, I just prefer a brush and a paint. And for this one, we just painted the areas that you're going to see. And originally we were going to go around this with a blue paint. I just thought we should put a nice light teak stain on there, and for MDF it's all soaked in nicely and stood its ground, and that was better. At least that way we've got a bit of wood showing through. Now it looks a bit messy at the moment in time, but once we simply pop that on there like so, we'll line it up proper, should we say. You're certainly going to get more of a shark than we did before. So just before we glue it all together, I'm going to spray these two separate pieces just so we can get into these tighter areas with a 151 lacquer spray, just to give it a little shine. And to me, it just finishes the project off. Once they've all both been sprayed, I'll simply come in with, I'm going to use two types of glue here. We're going to dab on the back some of this, just dab it all the way around like so, and a bit of the old super glue will incorporate in between just to make sure it stays in place. So for now, literally nice spray, glue it together, and when we come back, this little project will be finished. Right, you can see from that we've got a lovely shine on our shark. 3 or 4 coats of that varnish spray, and it's just enough just to finish it off. So now the next stage is obviously just to glue it all together. Said previously, bit of dab of wood glue. I brought this by mistake, but it works fine. So we just dab that all over, and then we'll throw in a bit of super glue as well. Exactly the same with that, and then we literally just stick it all down, and this little project, apart from putting a little angle on the back maybe, will be finished. Right, that's it. This little project is finished. So it's the shark cut out on MDF, and it measures in at 24 inches by 13 inches across. We cut it out with our Pegas number 5 spiral blade, and then we use Painter's Touch paint, literally just to paint it, mixing a white and a black together to give us that grey. On the outer surround, good old wood dye, light teak for the surround, and then we sprayed it all with a nice 151 varnish just to finish it off. And that is it for this one. We've got a nice shine, and when obviously we stuck it down with that wood glue and the super glue which I've left inside, and you can see from that, all nicely done. Remember, this is just recycled. This is just MDF, wood, ply, fencing stuff that would end up in a landfill. So if you can get you recycled wood, by all means try and use it. So that's it. Shark cut out with a scroll saw. Thank you very much for watching.